Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Before starting my video, if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, please do, and do not forget to turn on notifications because I'm sharing everyday great contents for you. Alright guys, in this video we're going to make a huge refactoring. We're going to fix our bugs and we're going to improve what we had previously. Alright, I made a list and I previously did these changes with another file and I tried them. They're all working. Let's try step by step our changes. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna fix a bug on our filters. Let's go back our filters. Parameter check filter. Let me have a look. This section, yeah, source entity wrong, please check your filtered parameters. I'm going to delete this section. Let me show you why I'm going to delete it. When it comes to add these changes, when it comes to use these filters on our controllers like user controller or role controller, their model name, let me show you their v model. For example, which one? Let me see. Yeah, for example, admin controller. We are in admin controller, but it is using, for example, not in admin, sorry. Let's have a look. Authenticate. Yeah, the controller is authenticate controller, but we are using register. And we are using user create v model. So the name of controller and the name of v model is different. So it is going to give an error message. If you going to create your logic according to your controller and your v model name, so you can use this logic, but I'm not gonna change my controller name or I'm not gonna change my v model's name right now. So I'm going to delete this section basically. All right, let's continue. The first one is done. Let me have a look. So we're going to add role attributes and filter attributes to our controllers, which is added later after our product and category. Okay, this is authorized attribute, so we're going to add role roles admin. Perfect. Let's continue with authenticate. This is registering and login, so we don't need to use, actually we shouldn't use any attribute. Authenticate is just allow for member and admin roles. Okay, it means if it's member or admin, if the user, if they are member or admin, they will able to log in. But if you type these authorized or separately, so it means they have to have both of them. All right, let's continue. Category already have dashboard. Actually, we didn't add. Yeah, category must be have. I'm gonna copy from here. Yeah, member and admin. Dashboard is, let me think a little bit. Yeah, this is member and admin. Exception doesn't need any authentication. Product is admin and member. Role just for the admin because admin is supposed to see the roles. It needs much more high level access. User role same as the other. Perfect. So our roles are has been added. Now we're able to access according to our role names. Let me do a couple of changes, then I will show you how they are working at the end of our changes, or we can do another try middle of our changes. Okay, let's continue with the, I can see we have some exceptions. Let me see my notes. Mapper exception, exception controller. Okay, before continue mapper section, we're going to make a huge changes on our mapper. I will show you something. Okay, save everything, close all tabs. First of all, let's go our, let me try to remember. Yeah, once we add generic service for user service, yeah, we send instead of user list view model. So let's go where we use this. Okay, as you can see, we brought all users and we get all users from user roles. But the problem is, if we add user list model, let me add user list model, because the correct one is this one. Yeah, let's delete, let's make the changes. Yep, let's go to user list v model. So we don't have any user role. We might do a mistake. Yeah, we don't have any user roles. We need to add user roles to user list v model to bring them all, and we need to use include. It's going to be included to user anyway, but we need to use map from user to user list v model. Okay, let's add it as well. Public. Just for now, I'm adding just a collection. User, not user, sorry. Role list v model. User roles. Get set. Let's go back to see the original user. Where is the original user? Okay, it returns user list v model. Okay, user roles. So not, this is role list v model. Okay, all role in all roles. Yep. User dot user roles any role ID. So this is role list v model. Okay, let's change it. Let's change it to the ID then. Okay. User roles. I'm just thinking if it's everything or correct. We're going to user role. We did something wrong here. Let's put it back. We need to add user role. Role list v model. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Role ID must be equal ID. So the problem is our mapper doesn't have an ability to use mapping for a collection in second level. So what does that mean? Let me open my board just for a second. Our current mapper. So this is a property or class, whatever, just single unit, not a collection. And in this section we have a collection. Where's my text? Yeah. Our mapper able to do the initial approach. It is going to check, is it property or class, a single unit, or is it a collection? If it's collection, it's choosing this one. If it's this one, it's choosing this one. But once it's completed, when it comes to being a nested mapping, so it's always choosing the single one. So we don't have any logic to choosing if it's collection or not on nested section. So we're going to fix this first. If we didn't do this, we're going to get error messages on this section. You can try this section, you will get an error. Okay, let's leave it here for a second. I'm going to save it. This section has been fixed, but all we need to do fix our mapper. Okay, let me have a look my notes. Okay, I'm gonna continue with the mapper section now. Let's open our mapper, and I'm gonna have a look my existing codes just in case not to make any error. Okay, perfect. First of all, as you can see, let's collapse all definition. This is all complicated. If we go through to map object, we have an if section, else section, and 95% of the codes in this two section is same. So we need to get rid of this, and we should add more good approach to creating our mapper section. Okay, first of all, let's get rid of this outcome section. So we did something unnecessary, this if else, because object, outcome can be null or not. So obviously all we need to do is delete this if else section. Yep, and let's delete. Should I delete this one? Let me think for a second. Um, destination active. Okay, just keep for a second these two. Okay, let's change null outcome, and this is destination is outcome is equal, so we can type here outcome. Okay, so it means if it's null, it's going to be assigned null automatically. If it's not null, the outcome is equal to destination anyway, so we don't need to use null and outcome if and else. But most important thing, we are assigning the destination according to status of our outcome object. So we're going to use ternary operation. So destination is going to be outcome. If outcome is null, destination will be activator create instance entity out. If it's not null, it's going to be outcome. Basically, so now we can delete this whole section. Perfect. I'm telling you again, double question mark is help us if the left hand side object null, it is going to apply right hand side object, and if it's not null, it is going to apply itself. Okay, let's go through again. If its outcome is outcome, these two variable will be outcome. If it's null, this is going to be null, and this is going to activate or create instance entity out. Perfect. So we are got rid of the if else section, and it is much more readable now. Okay, let's continue to add more improvements. So we should have a collection, right? Collection check. So we do an initial collection, but then we always doing single unit check. I guess we can do this collection check in map object instead of our main class, main method. Okay, I'm going to cut this whole section, and I'm going to put them here. Yeah. Okay. So instead of source, so what is our source here? Type of source, we have entity in, right? Let me double check my examples just in case. I don't wanna give you any wrong information. Alright, collection mapping is here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so if it's collection, we have source list, yeah. Okay, so we're going to give a request. Alright, so we're going to use, oops, entity, where's my entity in? Yeah, we're going to use entity in instead of type source. Yeah, we're going to get interface of our type source, and this is our source list. So we're going to cast the source. So this source and this request is the same. So I'm going to use source now instead of request. Let's continue. Type of destination is entity out. We can switch this. Yeah. So we have a destination object, blah blah, perfect. Item is source list, destination object. Everything is perfect. So all we need to do is we need to cast destination list to the destination. I'm just thinking map object. Should I cast it anyway? So this it returns. Let me have a look. The destination is the object. And destination is we can send object. Just send it object. Alright, so because our return item is object and we are returning, let me see, destination list. It can cover it. It can be an object. It doesn't matter. But I'm gonna change those all of them later. I'm gonna try to go step by step. So if it's collection, this section work. If it's not collection, this section is going to work. It means when we jump into map object, it doesn't matter which map object is going to run. If it's run, it's able to run collection check again. So it doesn't matter which one is comes first, which one is comes later. So we able to map nested listed collection object. Perfect. All right. Let's go one thing further. So now I would like to get rid of these entity in and entity out. These are useless. Why it's useless? Because everything we have comes from parameters here, and we don't need to use entity in and out. Now I'm going to delete this two section. Then we're able to see our errors and we're able to fix them. Let's delete these comments as well. These are very old. I'm not gonna change anything this section. I'm gonna leave it last because it's really similar to the previous one. Okay, so we have a mapper. Let's go to mapper interface. I'm doing slowly, step by step, not to make you confused, guys. Okay. All right, let's go back our mapper class. Okay, all we need to do is giving type of entity in. So how we can able to find type of entity in? Here we go. We have source and destination here. Yep. So all we need to do is type of source, type of destination. Perfect. This section is done. Let's did everything perfect. Let's fix this as well. Now I'm going to delete all of them because we already copied. I'm just going to give the source and the destination. Alright, this section has been completed, but we have a problem here. Now we have to define these iCollection and entity in. The problem while I was creating this section, we don't need to give these item types. So we can give much more general collection casting thing. Okay, let's go step by step. Okay. Alright, first of all, I'm going to change this casting iCollection entity. I'm going to use enumerable. And do not forget, I'm using system collection enumerable. I'm not giving any specific item, generic item, okay? Perfect. Once we cast this source list to enumerable, then we're going to, let me have a look, destination object. It must be the correct, I guess. I'm just checking my previous example, what I did. Activate requested instance. This is object, I guess. Yeah. We can cast it. We can cast it to the, if I understand correctly, list. Actually, I'm gonna do it here. Instead of iCollection entity out, I'm gonna cast it to the list. Alright. Perfect. Now we don't need any generic item for list and enumerable. While I'm using enumerable and list, I tried every permutation of combination comes from our vModels. It is working if I use like this. Okay, if I use enumerable instead of list, we don't able to use add method. And if I use list here instead of enumerable, we're going to get error message because this is an empty list. This is a comes with a full items. Okay, let's continue and fix step by step. So we have entity in here. So we need to change this entity in with whole entity in. All right. I'm just thinking. No, not entity in, sorry. So we have new item, right? So we need to, this is our item anymore. Get type. If I remember correctly, yeah. Our source is item and we're going to give, let me think, we're not going to give null anymore. We're going to give outcome. If it's going to null, null. If it's not null, we have an object then. Alright. And type of entity out is going to be, let me think about it, type of destination object. Okay, we need to get this object item. So how can we get this? All we need to do is var type of destination object, which is destination object. Actually, not destination object, destination type. I mean entity out. We need to get this entity out. Alright. So if it's collection, it has a generic type in this collection. So we're going to get this argument, okay? Get generic arguments 0, which is we're going to get first generic item. So we have a type in our hands now. Let's copy this and send this type for nested object. Perfect. We are we are finalizing step by step. Then destination, once destination object is solved, we're going to send this destination object without any casting. Yeah, because this is object and it is iList and we don't know what it is as a generic. So we can send the object. It won't be a problem. It is added now. All right. Then let me think a couple of seconds. So this section is completed, I guess. But what if it's not a collection? Let's continue the single site step by step. All right. We have property. Instead of property info, I'm gonna use var, not to make confused. Let's delete. I want my application automatically define what it is. Okay, so we are getting property. These are same. We're not touching anything else. Is there anything should I edit here? Okay, let's continue. It seems everything is good in this section. Nested object property in getting value. The source is, yeah, we are taking the source value of this property in. Yeah, nested value property in property type, nested value outcome property out type. Okay, these are same, not touching anything. This section is perfect. Okay, if it's collection, we're going to be here. If it's not collection, we will be here, right? So I'm going to use another if, because if we're not using this one, we're going to have a trouble. So this section is going to be applied twice. Actually, overwrite to this section. If it's collection, or let's just use else right here. Okay, so we have another if else, right? I'm going later, I'm going to make separate these two sections. I'm going to create own methods, private methods out of this section, and it will be much more readable then. And we're going to add depth guy. It's going to be much more useful. Okay, let's save everything. Now we need to fix our generic methods because we deleted our mapper, but let's still I want to continue. First of all, I would like to change the I would like to add the methods. Let's select this section, right click on it, quick action refactoring, extract method. Now I'm going to give method collection mapper. Yeah, perfect. To this collection mapper, basically we given the collection, if it's collection or not. Okay, this is our collection mapper, private object. By why we received everything. Okay, I did something wrong. I'm just reversing. Okay, I just want to take this section. Not okay. I'm going to make collection check in this area. Yeah, this is my fault, sorry guys. Okay, extract methods. Okay, collection mappers. As a variable, we are sending source, outcome, and entity out. Let me have a look. Okay, source, outcome, entity out, everything is working here. We have one curly bracket extra, I guess. Okay, let's go back our else section. I'm going to take this and quick extract method, single unit mapper. Perfect. We can delete these else, by the way. Because if it's collection, basically we're going to return. We're going to out of this method because we have return here. And instead of using two different variable, I can assign here automatically. Yeah, delete it. Perfect. I think it is becoming much more readable step by step. Collection mapper, single unit mapper. Okay, entity in source. Why we don't have entity in collection mapper? Okay, we didn't correct, so we don't need source tab for collection mapper. Okay, so we have a single, but why it become nullable automatically? Can it be null? Let me check for a second. No, it cannot be null. Let's delete this nullable section. Where is... Okay, I'm gonna put... Yeah, okay, perfect. So we have a single unit mapper and collection mapper. Should I add any different logic here? Let me think for a second. So we do validations, but before validations, I would like to make these methods much more great. Okay, let's start with the collection mapper. First of all, I would like to check if this enumerable, if the source is castable to enumerable. So before that, if source is not I enumerable, source list. Now I'm going to delete it. So what does that mean? If source is not enumerable, we're going to get an error message. If it is an enumerable, it is assigned to the source list. This is how it's working, is not keywords. So I'm going to throw new exception, which is we're going to customize them later. Okay. Now let's say source, oh not you, sorry. Where's my, yeah, string interpolator. We're going to use string interpolator. Source object of type is not an I enumerable. Enumerable, yeah. Perfect. We are building step by step and slowly our mapper object. Okay, this section is okay. we can change the naming to make it much readable. So we have source outcome entity out. We can say destination type. Destination type. It's going to be much better, I guess. Let's copy the destination type here. Perfect. Okay, let me think a little bit more. We are casting and we are assigning its list. So we are getting the arguments. Perfect. And we are returning for each. So we're going to go a nested object here. We have a destination list at destination of object. Perfect. And I guess we don't need it anymore. Yeah. And we are returning destination list. Perfect. It seems okay. Only left is we're going to add depth. So what is depth? So we're going to define how many nested mapping we're going to use because it can be endless. So if just imagine you have a class and this class has another class and this another class has the same previous class, so it's going to be endless iteration. Then you will get an error message and your application will be crashed. Alright, let's have a look our single unit mapper from 0 to the end. Let's change this name, source type and source outcome, and let's change destination type. This lesson is going to be very long, guys. I'm not gonna interrupt you. I'm going to show you slow by slow, step by step, because reflection and creating our own mapper class for this level, it's going to be very huge. I want you to understand every single detail. Okay, let's continue. Source properties. So we're going to use source type, get properties, destination type, get properties. Perfect. So we get our destination type according to the outcome status. If it's null, activator going to work. And if it's not null, we're going to use outcome. Okay, this is our for each. And we have another for each. This is not good, guys. We use nested for each, but this is not very good thing. So I'm thinking we can use much more better things. So I'm thinking if we assign these source properties to a dictionary, so we're able to use much more better logic. Let's try to do this. I'm going to use two dictionary method, and let's say p.name. We're going to get those properties names because we are using property name here, as you can see. Okay, all we need to do is I'm going to let me check for a second. I'm going to delete this property in section, right? Property destination, yeah. Destination properties. Let's change name destination property, by the way. Okay, I'm going to delete the inside for each. We're not going to use it anymore. Instead of, I'm going to add another logic. If, watch this section carefully, guys. Destination property, no, sorry, source properties. Source properties, which is the dictionary now. String and property info. String section is name. Property info section is the type. Okay. Source properties. Try to get value. Property, sorry. Why I can, no, sorry, source properties, my fault. try to get value destination property dot name. Okay, so I'm going to try to get value of destination property name. I'm going to give destination property name as a key. In return, I'm going to get source property info if it exists. So that's why I'm using try get value. Okay, perfect. If it exists, comma out var source property. Okay. If destination property name, when we give destination property name to our dictionary, in return, if we get the property info, it is going to be assigned as source property. Okay, perfect. Then basically, if I couldn't, I'm going to use reverse. I will use continue. Continue means it is going to end this for each loop and it is going to jump to the end exactly. Perfect. If we have, it is going to be assigned to the source property. Perfect. Let's continue. So we don't need to check property names as well. So we are checking these here. Now let's delete this property name sections. Perfect. Okay. We don't have any property auth anymore. We have destination property. We change the name. Let's fix the names. For the property in, we are using, if I understand correctly here, just a second, destination property, yeah, source property is our property in. Yeah. This is out. Without, we are using this one. Okay. Perfect. It seems everything perfect right now. Let's continue. Is there any changes do we need to do? Okay, let's fix everything. I think the single unit mapper is done very perfectly. Okay. We can add our validations now. Okay, so the problems in this mapper. So we might receive request null, right? Let's make a check here. If request is null, throw new exception. Alright. Let's say mapper source cannot be null. Okay. Then I'm going to add another logic. Actually, this logic must be add after we add our depth. Okay, let's save everything. I'm going to copy this logic here as well. Perfect. Okay, let's build the application. We're able to see the error messages. Then we can fix it correctly. Yep, we have lots of error. Comes from generic service and most of them are coming our services. Okay, let's go our generic repository. Now here. Okay. This is in services, I guess. Yeah. Generic service. Okay, we don't need any more to add these of huge um, mappers. Okay, we all need just one mapper. I'm gonna leave one of them. Okay, let's leave all of them. Okay, and just give a name, just mapper. Okay, let's delete all of them. Actually, delete all of them. Let's create our service constructor one more time. Okay, I'm gonna copy this mapper to all mapper rivals for all of them, and it's all done. Alright, let's go back our generic service. Do we need to? No, it's okay. Let's go to services, user service. Look at this. Oh my god, too many mapper we already created. Let's delete all of them. Actually, these are common bases, right? Okay, let's delete them and create services. Actually, the mapper one more time. Yep. Okay, let's add those as well. All right. All we need to use using mapper. Any mapper do we have here? Anything else? I think it's done. Perfect. Let's build the solution one more time. I'm waiting. 2 errors. Okay, let's check the errors. Okay, our registration. Let's delete all of them because we need to use normal type of add scope imapper mapper. It's done. Let's build solution one more time. 1 succeed, 0 failed. Perfect. It's done. Mapper section is completed. Close all tabs. Okay, I'm gonna check my list for the next one. So we finalize mappers. So we need to add new exceptions, right? I'm going to add a new exception which is called mapper exception. Alright, let's inheritance from exception. The exception. Let's create the constructor just for message. Okay, let's save everything. Let's go back our mapper class. I'm gonna give the mapper exception instead of normal exception. Then I'm able to catch these error messages by my handler. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Let's go exception handling controllers. Okay, I'm gonna copy again. If exception is mapper exception, let's have a look. This is client-side exception, client-side exception, upper source cannot be null, type enumerable. Okay, actually this is okay. Let's go back. I'm gonna make it. Let's keep it 400 or 401. number on exception message. Everything is cool, I think. Okay, let's save everything. Our customized mapper exception has been built. Okay, next one is access denied page. Okay, let's go to our program CS file. I'm just checking. Use exception handler. It is inactivated just for tries. Let's activate it again. So we have access denied path in our extensions. Yeah. Now I'm going to activate it and I'm gonna give the path here. Okay, as a located exceptions, right? Let me have a look. Not found page. Okay, I'm gonna put the access denied here. Access denied. Oh, sorry. Exception. Access denied. Alright. All we need to do is create an access denied page. We can create controller as well, or we can create just people. I always creating action methods and controller just in case we might need later. Public I action result access denied without any parameter return view. Okay, let's create. It's gonna be razor view. Let's create this page as well. I'm just waiting. Access in. I'm not gonna put anything special. I'm not gonna waste your time with the front end. Okay, all created. Now I'm gonna check a couple of errors while I was trying my application. Let's go to models and let's go to user role list view model. Okay, we don't have any problem here. User create view model. We have an I collection here. It might a problem for us. Let's leave it for a second. I'm gonna check it later. User list view model. We have another collection. I'm going to change it to the list because while we're doing mapping and casting, collection might have a problem, so that's why I'm switching them to the list instead of collections. Okay, mapper user generic service. I think this is everything what I would like to make for this lesson. Close all tabs, build solution. Now I'm going to try the application. It became really long lesson, guys. It's almost, let me have a look, 45 minutes, I guess. Let's run the app and let's see the results. But I have realized we have a problem. I started the application, I just realized we need a couple of things we fixed. We forgot to add depth for our mapper and we have small bug fix in our models. I was thinking to fix it but I forget it. User list view model. Now we don't have this one now create. This is a mistake. Just copy and paste wrongly. And I guess user role list has wrong class here. User list vmodel it should be. Okay, so we are using all the vmodels in our vmodels. Okay, now I would like to run the application and we're going to see overstock flow problem because we don't add our depth. So I would like to show you what kind of error this is. When I click it, we should have an error. Yeah, here we go. System stack overflow exception, which means we have endless type trying to map to each other. Okay, so we need to add depth. Let's close the app. Let's go to mapper class. Okay, we need to add integer depth to our methods. Let's save it and go back our mapper class. Let's add those integer depths. Alright. So we need to add those depth to our method. I think. Yep, let's add integer depth. So we need to pass this depth via our method. Okay, here we are. We are in here right now. So we need to, first of all, we need to add another parameter which is string and it can be null. So it is checking previous process. Basically, if it's collection, I'm going to give another chance to use nested methods, not to lose our depth value. Okay, so because of first try in collection, we are actually, what if I didn't? Okay, I'm gonna use previous process anyway. So by initial section, it must be null because we don't have any previous method, previous process. Once we go the nested methods, we're going to use this previous process. Okay, so basically, if previous process is collection, I want my depth again. So every time we jump into, I'm just thinking, no, it is okay. Okay, perfect. Sorry, my bad. So we need to add our depth to our collection and single unit mappers. I'm going to use a reference map, reference depth. Let's give this to reference depth. And we need to add this parameter to our method, reference int depth. And add this one as well. Okay, what is the logic it's supposed to be? So basically, when it comes to use nested objects, we're going to use depth minus minus, so we're going to use depth, and when it comes back to the outside, we're going to regain our depth. It means every time using nested object we used, we're going to depth all the time. If the user gave 3, after 3 times using nested method, we're going to get null result in here, we're going to put a null check. So it's going to go back, start to go back again. Okay, let's give our depth as a depth. And this is single unit. All right. Is everything all right? Now let me check quickly. Okay, let's go to collection mapper. So let's lose our depth here and gain one more time. And we're going to give our depth, and previous method is collection. All right. It seems it is going to work now. Let's run the application and let's see the results. But yeah, we didn't finalize it. We need to fix the methods. We need to give them 3, for example. Yeah, let's give everything what they need. Yep, continue. Anything else? Yeah, perfect. Let's run the app. Hopefully it is going to work and we will fix Stack Overflow exception. User list. So what's happening? Okay, Stack Overflow exception again. So let's check quickly. So we have depth here. Oh, we forget add null check, right? Sorry, my bad. So if depth smaller and equal 0, return null. Run the application one more time. Once it's working smoothly, I'm gonna add a couple of touch to make this mapper perfect. Yep, here we go. Let's check our user list. So let's go the last one. So this is one depth, because to copy this list, this is half, and getting the sub list, this is whole one. This is why I'm using if it's collection or single unit. Let's go to user roles. This is the second. Let's go to user. This is the third. As you can see, user roles comes null. Let's get back our role. It is perfectly working. So it means after 3 tapped, we're not able to go more deeply, so we are fix this problem. If we type instead 4 instead of 3, so we're going to go deep one more time. Perfect. It is working smoothly. Let's continue. Let's have a look at our roles, admin members. This is role list. This is products. This is categories. Let's try to edit anything. Okay, let's create new category. Delete it. Products. Create new product. All right. Let's create everything. Okay, let's edit. Add these later. They are all working. As you can see, let's delete it. Working. Edit user. Did I fix the email error? If I try to change the email, I'm going to get error message, I guess. Yep, I'm going to use ID instead of email. This is a mistake what I did before. Okay, we are finding our ID using our email. If we change our email, how can we find our user? So basically, let's change email to ID, which is always same, and this error is fixed as well. Okay, let's continue, run the app one more time. Edit user, info to test, update. It is working, as you can see. Let's put it back, info. Okay, user list. Everything is working, guys. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple of touch to the mapper section. Let me add a couple of logic. So we need to check our object and destination here. Okay, let's put it here. If outcome is null, mapper destination cannot be null, and if source is null, I'm going to throw the exception depth string. We're going to return null. Okay, anything else? Perfect. Actually, we checked the object here anyway. We don't need to put it again. We don't need to do it because we already checked the request here, I guess. But actually we are sending object from here as well. Okay, let's edit. Anything else? Should I edit? Okay, I'm going to add some private constrings. For collection. I'm using all the best practice method, guys, for you. Const string single unit. All right. So I'm gonna use single unit, and I'm gonna use collection here. So if collection, and I'm gonna use is. Okay, so it's much more readable. Anything else should I add? Let's change this source type, much more meaningful names. Destination type. Let's copy the source. Entity in, entity in, entity in, entity out, and entity. Perfect. Alright, now collapse definitions. Save everything. Close all tabs. Perfect. Okay. It's been more than 1 hour, so I'm going to divide this lesson two, guys. Probably you're watching the second one now. And the other lesson, I would like to add a very dynamic, the role, how can I say, assign role to our controllers. It's going to be a very dynamic one, and we're going to use attributes, roles, and policies. It is going to be a really good exercise for you. I know it is basic level um, tutorial, but I would like to push your limits for harder And believe me, when it start to when you start your business stuff, you will need every detail you learned while you are studying. All right. I am. I guess let me check my list again. If I forget something, I'm going to put an addition on next lesson. I'm going to finish this lesson here. Take care of yourself. See you on next lesson. Do not forget to drop comment below the video and do not forget to like the video, please. Take care of yourself. See you on next lesson. Bye bye.